Are you looking to start or expand your piggery business? Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Getting Life. So if you're watching this video, you're probably interested or have already from a backyard operation to what I am now, which is like a small to medium scale, which I label myself as that. So I can house at any given time 80 to 100 pigs and release that all depends, because you're releasing at particular periods, whether it's piglet production, lechon, or fattening. If you're new to the channel, my name is Gilser Reguera, and concerning pigs, I've had a piggery business for about 10 years, and through trial and error, I've gone through pretty much 3 to possibly 4, even 5 business models or income streams you can make from doing a piggery, and I'm going to share that with you today. So this video is going to be packed full of information, so if you want, you can go get some pen and paper, because I'm going to share a lot of info with you. Or you can just keep going back into the video, no problem, it doesn't matter to me. I want to just give you a quick breakdown of what I'm going to show you, or what I'm going to share with you today. 1, the types of pig breeds that I have dealt with within my program and that are readily available in the Philippines right now. 2, I'm going to share with you the feeding program, the steps from weaning the pig out to pre-starter all the way to finisher. And I'm also going to share with you, which I believe the top 3, possibly 4, even going to 5 business models that you can do when you're trying to do a piggery or a pig business or pig production business. However you want to put that, I don't know. And lastly, I'm going to share with you my cost of what it costs the facility I made in one of my properties, as well as the cost of maintaining and growing the pig until the day of sale, which is, it could be from, once again, piglet to lechon to fattening, obviously going into slaughter. Being that my wife and I run multiple businesses, I have a general knowledge. My caretaker, I spent for him to go to seminars and things like that. I have enough knowledge how the business is ran, what types of breeds to get into that have a fast growth rate, really hardy, meaning like they can last, you know, really hot, humid temperatures, as well as production of piglets, because that's very important when you're starting out with breeding pigs, because especially if you're starting your own program, you need it's been tested, it's been tried and tested that certain breeds can produce more piglets than other breeds because of, breeding, selection, and things like that. Scouring the internet, I actually found and it's brand new, September 5th. The author is Beth811. I'm gonna share the links down below that you can really look into. She basically took my brain and compacted it concerning the piggery. Basically broke down or the information that I want to share with you, I feel, in a better way. I was never diagnosed, but I probably have some type of like ADHD, because my focus sometimes is, like I said, my wife helps me out with that. And I've been working on that for a very, very long time, and it's gotten better over the years, but sometimes distraction, whatever. Filipinos love pork, right? Pork is such a staple within the Filipino diet. And me personally, when it comes to business, I don't really like going into how can I say this without upsetting anybody? I don't like doing the innovative, unique and stuff when it comes to certain businesses, because at the end of the day, when you're starting business, you kind of want to, maybe this is the Chinese in me, I don't know, you kind of want to go to the lane where everybody's driving already, like, okay, yeah, money, come to me. Now you can do a little bit of adjustments within that setting to try to bump yourself up compared to your competition. You kind of want to be in the niche or region where everybody's making the dough already, so you can get some of that right there. But because the Filipinos consume so much pork, and outside of the meat market, there's people slaughtering their own pigs in the backyard and selling them out to their neighbors. This is a common thing. I've done it. Let's say, for instance, I didn't get anything sold for the weekend. I'll just slaughter it, sell it out to the neighbors, or sell it out through my stores, or in my eateries, my little canteens. The meat goes through there all the time, which I make crazy amounts of profit. That's another business situation that you can do. Once again, tangent. Get back into the lane. Let me break down the types of breeds that are already within the Philippines, obviously brought to the Philippines by Europeans as well as Americans. From doing my research, actually the Philippines has 4 endemic like Philippine native pigs. However, they're probably a bit smaller, and you're not going to really get the gains as far as, you know, what you want in a piggery business. Maybe you want to keep it as a pet, you want to do it as your personal thing, doesn't matter, you know, it's up to you. But I'm going to share with you the breeds that are in the Philippines already that have been tried and tested for its qualities, hybrided out, meaning they've been interbred to produce this particular product that has really good gains when it comes to meat production, lean to fat ratio, piglet production, as well as milk production. I think the most popular right now, or has been for a while probably, is your large white breed. I'm gonna show you pictures of mine as well throughout this whole, you know, I'm gonna put like a little, like a montage somewhere around here. These are large and white, like the name says, and then the ears are like erect. You know, like if you guys have dogs, you buy those, like, you know, in the pet supply stores, pet stores, they have those big ears, those big stand-up ears. That's them. It's really beneficial for you to integrate this within your program. The sows, or the female pigs, they usually get large litters. I'm talking about 10 up. They don't really do good in the outside where they're just like it's tied to a tree. I don't really do that for them because some of them are like, you can't have your confinement area or a pen. Can't have it too low. You have to have that protection where, you know, like the wind doesn't really get to them. The next one is the Landrace breed. Now, I definitely have this in my program. I know this for a fact. Now, generally speaking, these pigs are short-legged, white, and sometimes their ears are not too large, but like they droop down a little bit. And same as the large white breeds, they have really good mothering abilities and tend to have large litters. Me personally, I think the ones that I have bred into my program, especially when I started putting Landrace into the mix, into the program, the milk production was a lot higher. The growth rate was a little bit better with the Landrace mixes, because just for the fact that they are like sometimes heavier milk producers. But the con to having these Landraces, I've never really faced it because most of the majority, all the pigs that I have are in our piggery, so they never really touch dirt unless, you know, they get slaughtered and stuff like that. But generally speaking, they don't really do good in rugged conditions because their body, their mass is so heavy. They're very girthy, very long pigs, like very long. So I've had sows easy 8 to 10 feet long. A lot of mass on the top, legs are short, a lot of pressure on the knees. I mean, rugged, in this article, rugged is, I think in my brain, like you're outside, tied to a tree, rocks everywhere. I don't think that's a really good situation for any pig, especially if you're doing a piggery. If you could afford to do like a cleaner setup, right? And the next one is one of my favorites, the Durocs. Now this one is great with the Filipino temperature. This is a red to lightish brown. Quick fact: the Duroc, the name Duroc, actually originated from Saratoga, New York. So go New York, you know, I'm from New York. So, but these pigs, very resilient pig. I mean, I have bred them in, and I think the last 5 years I've seen more and more red to, you know, the red Duroc style. My drop rate, or, you know, like my death rate has, that sounds really bad, man, death rate. I don't know how to say that, like life term, like the mortality rate, that's the one I'm looking for. The mortality rate has gone down on my end. I actually bought a purebred Duroc, but then that goes without saying, right? You have to fortify your environment as well, your piggery. Like mine, it's like a, you know, it's open. However, like during like hot days, I have fans in there. The caretakers are always washing the pens out because I have a septic tank, as well as I have bamboo shutters that drop down when I need to, when it gets too hot or too windy or raining, to block, just to mitigate any type of possibility they can get sick. And because you have to realize, once that piglet or pig has loose stool, diarrhea, you got to get that thing back to, you have to pump a lot of electrolytes in there, medicate them, because that's not a good sign for pigs, from my experience. Like, I'm not really in depth into like the raising of the pig, but I know already after 10 years, when that pig starts pooping loose, wet, you gotta get to it right away. You just never know. I don't want to take the chance, especially if the girl's pregnant. I don't really care so much if she loses the babies, because if she's a quality sow, I don't want to lose her, because I can always have the babies. You know what I'm saying? You purge her after, if she does lose them, and then, you keep moving forward. And another good thing about the Durocs are like the growth rate, like like what you can produce in like 6 months sometimes. With Duroc, sometimes you can do it in 5, even 4, right? That's what I've realized, because there was a point in time where I would wait 6 months for the pig to get to the optimal weight where I can make some little money off of it without spending too much feeds on it. But since I introduced a Duroc blood in there, I've gotten I can release a month earlier, even 2 or 3 weeks earlier, and you have those all-stars in your camp all the time. I think I can release 4 in 4 months sometimes. And lastly, with the Durocs, they can do well in rugged conditions. Once again, if you want to do good, and if you can afford it, if you've got the money to do it, make a actual place for them. This is like my perspective of growing those pigs. I don't like seeing them tied to a tree. Now, yes, it does cost money to do a piggery, but if you can do it, you have the funds and the means to do it, I think you should do one. It could be 5 stalls, 10 stalls, whatever. That's just my take on that. It's my 2 cents. The next one is the Hampshire. Hampshire, I say Hampshire because, in America there's New Hampshire, but it could be pronounced Hampshire. I don't know. I think the initial pigs that I've had prior to me really honing in and trying to get a breed program down, these next 3 breeds I believe are within my program, my previous program, because I pretty much filtered them out after my probably my 5th purchase of new piglets to go in the program, because that's when I really honed in to okay, I want this, I want to release in X amount of time, and then all those things you factor in when you start this particular business, right? Because you don't want to hold that pig too long, because the pig eats, man. It needs to maintain a proper diet, but after a while it's going to eat more into your pocket and eat into your profit. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing this business. These next 3 breeds are usually black and white, whether it's spots or a band. So the Hampshire, generally speaking, is like a black pig with a white stripe, usually down the shoulders, right? The growth rate of this pig, of a Hampshire, average, 6 months you'll push it out, right? 6 months you'll push it out. The great thing about, if you are planning to put this into your program, is the fact that just like the Duroc, they can withstand the rugged conditions. Meaning they're a little bit more hardy than the white breeds, which is like the Landrace and the large whites, right? So that's something to think about. You can do like a breeding system where it's a large white, the offspring of that, mix it to these next 3 breeds I'm gonna show you, mix it to a Hampshire or a Duroc. But if you can't get your hands on a Duroc, a Hampshire, and then the offspring of that, which would be 50% large white and 50% Hampshire, breed that back to another large white, and then you have at least that percentage, a drop of Hampshire in there that can hopefully within that breeding program withstand, if the pigs are outside, if you live in a climate where it's constantly raining, very windy, cold, you can't really afford heaters and things like that. You want to try to save electricity. There's a lot of factors in trying to get that breeding program that suits your needs, right? So the next one is a Berkshire. Instead of the white band in the middle by the shoulders, this is generally a black pig with usually white legs, like they have socks on, basically. In Dumageddon, these pigs that you see that have black in them usually are considered like, especially the now that I found out, like the Hampshire and the Berkshire line, they're considered as like Bisaya pigs, like local pigs, because the people have fully understand the weight gain, the time frame of when these pigs can get released are a lot better with the large whites and the Landrace and the Durocs. But the Berkshire and the Hampshire kind of have a bad rap because they don't really have a lot going for them as far as if you're doing it as a business, from what I see, because the weight gain ratio takes a little bit longer, right? And if they're consuming just feeds and dry feeds, not the wet feeds, not like, you know, slop and whatever leftovers, it's gonna take a lot of time to get that money for you, right? So that's something to consider. If you're the type of guy that just does it for your personal needs, go right ahead. Hampshire, Berkshire, it's fine, because if it's for your personal needs, then it makes sense, right? Because whatever's left over, you just feed them the slop, then you're good to go, right? And then you're not really concerned about flipping that. But the pro is, just like the Hampshire, them being in rugged conditions are a lot better. They're a little bit more hardy, which I don't understand why the white pigs. That sounds so bad if somebody just heard that, white pigs. Well, either way, why the white pigs and the darker pigs last more in rugged conditions, the white pigs last less, I guess. Maybe they were over-engineered, I don't know. Once again, tangent number 2, sorry. Now, this next one, pie trains, I know I have in my program. I'll show you some pictures, like hopefully somewhere here, or maybe you've seen them already. These are pigs that are generally white, but like have black spots, you know, black grayish spots. They remind me of like a Holstein cow, you know, the milk producing cows. So like that version. These pigs are great for like meat production, right? Usually when you're buying meat back home, people are like, okay, give me more onod, like give me more meat, because sometimes the fat, and this is also the diet too, like when you're feeding them dry feeds and wet feeds too, the fat to meat ratio generally have a better lean to fat ratio from what I've seen, because after the slaughter I always check out the meat production on there, like, you know, what's working, what's not working, right? So the bad thing is that it takes a long time for them to get to that point, which once again, in a business, you kind of want speed before perfection, you know, sometimes, because perfection takes time. But those are the top 6 pig breeds that are within the Philippines right now that are readily available for you to get. Now, my top picks are going to be Landrace, Large White, and Duroc. The breeding programs within the Philippines are not as extensive as it is in the West. And if somebody's importing pure breeds, it's going to cost you a lot of money, right? To get your stock going, then go with what you have. Go with your, how far your budget goes. Look for the qualities that you want. You're talking about like big pigs, females, as many teeth as possible, right? As many teeth as possible. They gotta have at least 6 good ones. So the pre-starter is probably like a month. I usually give that like from the wean to like a month into it for them to get used to it, because it's probably, I never really looked into the labels, but I would figure that there's probably a milk substitute there mixed in with the feeds. Now I use that like from, like, so consider this, month 1, he's weaned already. This is day 1 after the 1 month wean. 1 to 30 days, a month, or 31, whatever. You give them pre-starter. Now from there, I give them the starter. Now the starter, you're gonna give that to them, or I do. You know, everybody has strategies, right? I give that starter to them for about 2 months, or until they reach about like 10 to 25 kilograms. So I'm right there, somewhere in the middle there, right? And then I move them into the grower. The starter is basically the tail end of that starter. You're pretty much on a low end lechon size. Taking it past that, you're gonna go into the grower phase, which is given to them until they reach about 30 to 40 kilos. It says 35 here, but I run it to like 40, you know. I then move them into the finisher. And then from there, I just basically draw it out until they reach about, I don't hold pigs more than 6 months. That's pretty much it as far as feeding the pigs. Now, like I said, everybody has their own strategies, whether they work or don't work. I don't know if it works for you, fine. This has worked for me for the past 10 years, right? This formula, I usually just keep the pig between 4 to 6 months. The location, the facility, let me just break this down. This is basically based on your budget, right? Me personally, I had a very cheap setup where it was bamboo walls and then, or barriers, and then a cement floor. That only lasted for about like 6 months, and then we bought a property, and then I just built out, it's probably 500 square meters, and I built out a facility that can house about 80 to 90. Now that's a mix now. That's not like all fattening. Probably like 6 stalls for sows. And then I have 2 stalls for my boars. Pigs that are ready to be made into a bred, I keep them in the smaller pens. And then when they do get bred, I move them into the pens for the birthing pens. Now, I am going to be changing my setup pretty soon, as in all I'm gonna focus on is piglet production, maybe like 80% piglet production, 20% lechon, because the fattening to me it's a little bit too cost intensive. I find that I find that piglet productions with the right amount of buyers, and then you're well known, you can disperse them, you can release them a lot faster. And the cost of them is just basically wean them for the month, and then because they're basically on the mother's milk, taking care of the sow and taking care of your boars, and switching them out every couple of years or sessions, you know. That's pretty much it. So for me, that's more of a simpler business, and an inventory better, honestly. I can go more into that later if you ask, comment down below. This is more of a general preview of what you can do if you go into this business, right? The budget I had for the facility was probably under 300,000 pesos. Right? Like probably 250 or something like that. But now a lot of that money came from the previous breedings I had with the pigs. Why? I don't ever pay myself, right? I'm not in that. The way I am is I'm so young. I'm always reinvesting into the business, right? I never like, oh yeah, I need a new computer, let me just take money out. No, I'm always flipping the money back into the business because I have to scale it up. That business only started with $60. I bought some cheap pigs, like 3 cheap pigs, like 1,000 pesos each or something like that. It was like 1,200, but I bargained them down to like 3,000 pesos. So that was our start of Piggery, which was more of like, I believe more pie train, low quality stuff, So, but that's my start. From there, bought the most I can get with the money, and then I basically grew that into what the Piggery is now. So take that however you want to take that, and hopefully that'll help you in the future, motivate you, inspire you. Now the cost of maintenance for holding these pigs, right? I've been doing it for the 10 years, as I said, and this is the figures that I have come up with. Generally speaking, this is every pig is case by case, because you generally, some pigs grow slower than the other. When I say slower, I'm talking about 2 weeks slower, a week before release and stuff like that. And you try to do a bulk release sometimes, but you kind of want to, a week is really nothing for me. 2 weeks I can wait, for them to get to that level of weight that I need them to go to get a release. 2 weeks is really nothing compared to the feeds you're feeding them, right? 2 months, that's a big hit. Actually, that's a big hit if you're keeping it for 2 months. Very big hit. If you comment below, let me know your numbers if you have a piggery in the Philippines already. Share your perspective, maybe saving or whatever. In Dumaguete, not Manila, I don't know the rates in Manila, but in Dumaguete, live rate is about 110 to 120. That could be a store, a personal, a regular person buying your stuff, or you selling it wholesale to wherever. Now there's a lot of negotiations that Filipinos love to haggle. So dead weight, carcass weight now will go from 180 to 200, as high as 230 for different parts of the carcass. I'm generally grossing, very important word, grossing, because I hate these people that boast about, I made this, I made that, I made it like this. I'm grossing about 10 to 14, I'm going to the 15 per pig, which basically gives me like a net profit. Net. This is the most important thing for you guys who love to boast and babble. You're netting about 1,000 to 4,000 per pig. Okay, so to close this up, this very long video, hopefully it'll chop it up nicely. But there's basically 3 to 5 possible business models you can do with the piggery. One, as I was showing you guys, you can do the piglet production, you can do lechon, and you can do fattening. Now, everything goes in stages unless you, if there's certain times where you won't be able to sell as many pigs that you want at that particular time, unless you're lucky, and then you got a buyer that will buy it in bulk. Piglet production will grow into lechon, the ones that you don't sell, and the lechon, if you do have any leftovers, will go into fattening. It depends on which one you like. One's less cost intensive as the other one. Piglet production I particularly like because it's just have babies and go, have babies and go. So for me, that model works as well as lechon. Now, the other 2 possible business models that you can do are, one, you can actually open a meat shop if you're into that, and then funnel all your meat through there, which is a really good profit margin for you if you're the one that's actually producing the pigs for that. If your capital can fund it all the way through. And 2, is waste recycling. So there's 2 ways you can recycle the waste. You can basically, I have a septic tank in my piggery, so every few months I take out the stuff out of the septic tank, which is the poop, and I dry it out. I sell that to the tilapia farmers in Tanhai. It's like 50 pesos. It's like 50 pesos per sack, basically. It's waste, so it's money in the pocket. And then another way you can do it is through biofuel. If you want to do the setup where you take the 2 compartments of whatever your storage thing is for your poop. You take the compartments, you have 2 chambers. One chamber holds the solid matter, the other chamber holds the gas matter. The gas matter turns into methane, and then that you can use for your home purpose, like cooking and things like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much edit everything now. I hope you like this video. If you want me to make more videos to expound on certain topics and subjects, let me know. Comment below. Like, share, spread the word, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you next video. Bye.